Alright, welcome one and welcome all to the UKC. I'm your host, Top Gear Tim. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, we are only weeks away from qualifying, which means we have to go over rules and regulations of the UKC and everything else you need to know so that we can get you informed about everything you need to know about the UKC. Alright, so first things first, it is the qualifiers. There will be 4 total weeks of qualifying, and the qualifying windows for each week are going to be starting on Friday and ending on Sunday of each week. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of each of the qualifying weeks, that is your qualifying window. If you do not make it to those dates, you will lose your rank or your chance to place at a higher rank if you do not make it on those dates. Now, the first date of qualifying starts on Friday, May the 27th. Now that is exactly 2 weeks from the time of this recording, and that will be for free-for-all. So if you are registered for the free-for-all division in the UKC, make sure to put Friday the 27th down as a date on your calendar. That is the first day of qualifying, and you have until the Sunday of that weekend, so to speak, to make it into qualifying if you are registered for free-for-all. That is week 1. Now, week 2 of qualifying, that starts on Friday, June the 3rd, and you have until the Sunday of that weekend to qualify, and that is for 2v2. If you are registered for the 2v2 division for the UKC, then make sure to put down Friday, June the 3rd as a date on your calendar, because that will be the day that you will qualify for the 2v2s. And also, week 2 will consist of the people that moved on from week 1 for the free-for-all. Yes, it will be a multiple week qualifying, as I have mentioned. Now, week 3, we are moving on to June 10th, which is also on a Friday. Mark that down if you are a 1v1 player, because that will be the first day of qualifying for 1v1s, and also it will be the finals round for the free-for-all players and the round 1 advancements for the 2v2 players. And finally, week 4 of qualifying starts on Friday, June the 17th, which will be for the finals for the 2v2, and then we will also get the placements and final rounds done for the 1v1 on that week as well. 1v1 matches are a little bit shorter, so that is why we can squeeze in more rounds within that last week, so to speak, and I really don't want to have more than 4 weeks of qualifying. That does tend to, drag it out a little bit, so I'm trying to make it as concise as possible, but still 4 weeks of qualifying. Make sure you mark down those dates. Friday, May the 27th, Friday, June the 3rd, Friday, June the 10th, and Friday, June the 17th. Those are the start of each qualifying day, and you have until the Sunday to make it and show up to the qualifiers. If you don't show up to those, then you will simply lose your rank or your chance to place at a higher rank. It doesn't mean you're kicked from the league. It just means that you will have to work your way up in the future matches whenever we actually start having official UKC matches. Alright, so now that we have the qualifying dates out of the way, let's go ahead and jump straight into the free-for-all, since that is what we know as King after all. That is the most popular one. That will be considered the main event. That is the one that we have the most participants registered for, so that is obviously the most popular. Anyway, I'm rambling here. So, first bit of rules and regulations. Once you load into the map, quickly get into the arena as soon as possible. Alright, now before every match, if I start off with the crown and I am not a participant, we will have to restart the game. Okay, in any situation where I am not a participant and I start off with it, because I will be spectating the matches, if I start off with the crown, we will restart. That is true for not just free-for-all, but for 2v2 and 1v1 as well. Alright, so once you load in, assuming that I do not start off with it, quickly get into the arena as soon as possible. Alright, do not tag anybody on the ground, do not tag anybody on the ramp, make it into the arena as soon as possible. Now, once everybody makes it in, you can start playing. However, 10 seconds will be deducted from the player who starts with the crown. So if player 1 starts off with the crown, at the end of the game, player 1 will have 10 seconds deducted from it, since they are the ones that started off with the crown. Alright? There will also be a driver's briefing before every match, which is a script that I will read to all the participants before the match starts, and I will ask if there are any questions as just part of a regulation. Now, what map is it? What class will it be played in? Those are going to be decided by what I like to call podium points. Alright, so we have 3 podium points. We have map, we have class, and we have Car Stipulation. Alright, so the highest ranked player in that lobby, or the champion, will have a first pick on what they want to pick. If they want to pick the map, the class, or the Car Stipulation. I will get more into Car Stipulation later down the video. So the highest ranked player, let's say they picked the map, so they get to pick what map it's being played on. The second highest player gets to pick either the class or the Car Stipulation. And for this example, let's just say they pick the class, so the third person gets to pick the stipulation of the cars. Now, stipulations include and is not limited to front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, all wheel drive only, front engine only, rear engine only, horsepower minimum, horsepower maximum, weight limit minimum, weight limit maximum, the year of the manufacturer, car brand, a list of specific cars, any sort of thing like that, any sort of car stipulation, extreme track toys, SUVs, anything like that, no aerodynamic parts, no Forza arrows, things like that. You can have these stipulations. I have a list of allowed stipulations. I'm not gonna say which is which because I really don't want anybody to be abusing a certain one or anything like that. But the person that gets to pick the car stipulation will get to pick whatever they want. Or if they don't want a stipulation, they don't have to pick it. There doesn't have to be a car stipulation. But let's say, somebody really wants to do a championship round in rear wheel drive. If they are the champion or they get to pick the car stipulation, they have the ability to do so. Alright, so with that said, the car stipulation, I do have a list of them. If you are a person that gets to pick the car stipulation, I will let you know whether if that is an allowed stipulation or not. So that's what the car stipulations are, and those three things, the map, the class, and the car stipulations, those are the three podium points that I like to call them, that will be picked or determined by the ranks of the players within that lobby. Alright, and the objective of the free-for-all, obviously, get as much time as possible, get more time than anybody else in that lobby. That is the objective of a free-for-all, obviously. So it's pretty straightforward, and I believe that about covers everything that you need to know for the free-for-all. Alright, with that being said, we're now moving on to the 2v2. Now, a lot of the same things that I said apply. If I start off with the crown, whenever the game starts, we will have to restart because I will be spectating all the matches and everything like that. So if I start off with it and I'm not a participant, then we will have to restart the match. Again, like with any other match, there will be a driver's briefing. Now, with the 2v2, a couple of things. The runner. So actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and mention the objective first for people that might not know what Team King is, or at least 2v2. So, in a 2v2, you got 2 versus 2. It's a team-based game, so to speak, right? On one team, you have a runner and a blocker. The runner's time is the only time that counts. Even if in some sort of weird circumstance where the blocker has more time than the runner, only the runner's time counts. So, if you are a runner on your team, your objective is to get the most time, more than anybody else on the field. Your main objective is to win the game, to become first place. That is your objective as a runner. Now, if you are a blocker, your objective is to make sure by any means necessary that your teammate, that your runner, gets first place, whether that's by ramming the other team, absolutely blocking them, absolutely pinning them against the wall, doing whatever it takes, whatever it is necessary so that your teammate, your runner, can get first place. That is the objective of the blocker and the runner. With that being said, before the match begins, the runner and blocker has to be determined. It cannot be switched mid-game, and it has to be clear and cut that this player is the blocker and this player is the runner. That has to be determined before the match starts. You cannot switch between matches. Now, you can switch between week to week. Alright, so if you're a runner one week and you want to be a blocker the next week, that's fine. You just have to determine it before the match starts. Alright? With that being said, teammates, that's another thing. You have to stick with your 2v2 partner. So, whoever you are, set up with as a 2v2 partner, you are stuck with them for the rest of the league, so to speak, right? Indefinitely. I will talk more about that a little bit later. But you are stuck with that teammate. You can't switch from, one team to another team. You can't do any of that. You do have to stick with your teammate. It has to be a solid team, because if you are, player A, you have to automatically be associated with player B. If we are talking about 2v2, we do have to have a form of, we do have to have uniformity in the 2v2 league. So that is the reasoning behind that. And also, you get to play with your partner, you get to work with them, and also that, I think, actually creates a better team if you stick with us one person rather than jumping from team to team. But anyway, regardless, you do have to stick with your team. Now, the class, the map, car stipulations, everything I said about that in the free-for-all part of the video, it still applies here, except now we have only 2 teams instead of like, if that, it's like a one. And so here's what I mean. Okay, so I will explain exactly what I mean. So the highest ranked player, not player but team in this case, the highest ranked team or champion will get to pick one of those 3 podium points, either class, map, or car stipulation. Okay, so let's say that person picks car stipulation first. Let's say they pick whatever stipulation they want. The second team, they get a choice between the class or the map. So they can pick either the class or the map, or the other 2 that's remaining. If it's in any other circumstance. So let's say they pick the map. Now, that means the class of the match that will be played in goes back to the first ranked person, because unlike free-for-all, free-for-all, there's at least going to be 4 people, so you can go 1, 2, and 3. However, with a 2v2, yes, it's 4 players, but it's only 2 different teams, so it'll bounce from 1, 2, and then back to 1 when it comes to the podium points. So the top ranked person obviously gets the one pick, whichever one they want. The second ranked team, they get to pick either of the whatever out of the 2 that's left, and then the final one will go back to the the first team. So that then every match will have a car stipulation, a class, and a map, at least for free-for-all and 2v2. So that is the same with free-for-all. Pretty straightforward with that. Alright, I am trying to think of what else I have left, but I believe that is it for the 2v2 and free-for-all portion. I believe I have covered everything. And if you guys do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and send a message to me on Xbox. Even if you think the question is dumb, I would rather have you ask them than you be confused on the day of the match. That is my point. Now, we're moving on to the 1v1 division of the league, okay? The 1v1 division is a little more different. It's a bit of an outlier compared to the free-for-all and 2v2, portion of the league. 1v1 has different classes, it's got different sets of rules, but, I believe 1v1s will make quite exciting matches. Pretty stoked for it. I'm actually stoked for all the matches, but regardless, so 1v1. Now, free-for-all and 2v2, they can play in all the classes, anything from D class all the way to X class. All the classes are eligible. However, for 1v1s, the class limitations are from A class 800 to S2 998. Those are the limits. Those are the the lowest and the highest. However, there are 5 different classes, okay? And these 5 classes are A class 800, S1 850, S1 900, S2 950, and S2 998. Those 5, including the middle classes, the middle, like the 950s, the 850s, those are all considered classes in the 1v1 league. So that is 5 different divisions, 5 different classes within the 1v1. Now, the kicker with that, you can compete in any of them that you want, in any of the divisions that you want, in any of the classes that you want, but you also don't have to compete in any one that you don't want to. So let's say you want to stick with, S1 850 and S1 900 and you don't want to do anything else. That is perfectly fine. That is perfectly okay. Now the kicker with that, you do have to stick with one singular car for whatever division it is you compete in. Okay, if your car is able to compete at A-Class 800, and it's also able to compete at the S2998 class, you are more than welcome to. However, obviously, once you get to the higher classes, since that car is, super upgraded, it's not going to be as good as cars that are naturally higher up in the S2s. So whatever the player decides to do, whatever division that the player decides to compete in, that is completely up to the player. And so, they can compete in whatever division that they would like to, but they also don't have to compete in any division that they don't have to. That way, if I have a 2 or 3 division champion, it's not just one person using the best car in each class, it is one person doing it all with one car, and that's what I like to see, so that there's actually some prestige in having, multiple championships at different divisions. With that being said, this isn't just for 1v1, this is for all free-for-all, 2v2. There is one banned car, and that's the Racer Tachyon. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's the electric car. It's like S2, and then if you put the drift suspension on there, it goes all the way down to A-Class. That is the only car that is banned in any of the any of the games. So other than that, everything else is fair game. If you are able to make your car, especially for 1v1, if you're able to make a car that's good in all the classes, S2. Let's say you're even able to downgrade a car, to a certain class. You are more than welcome, as long as you can do it. As long as your car makes it in that class, you can compete in that class. That is completely up to the players and their ability to drive the car at different classes. Now, same thing with the free-for-all and 2v2. There will always be a driver's briefing. I will read the script in the party while the players are in the party as well, and then also after the party, the players can leave, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I will read the script, and after that, the match will start. Now, for the 1v1s, if I start off with the crown, we have to restart. We have to keep restarting until I don't start off with the crown. If I start off with it, we have to restart because I'm the one spectating. I can't be the one that start off with it. Now, let's say I don't start off with it. Once you spawn in, get into the arena. It's a square. All right, pick one corner. You get to pick any corner that you want, but pick a corner and stay there until the time remaining on the clock is 6 minutes. Once it hits 6 minutes, that's when you go. Yes, every 1v1 round is 6 minutes. However, the event will be set for 7 minutes to give time for everybody to get into the arena. And at the end of the match, the person who starts off with the crown will be deducted 1 minute since they would have already had it for that first minute. And then it will be out of 6 minutes instead of 7. Alright, I believe that does it for the 1v1. Now, for car changes, for teammate changes, I will allow these once every month, okay? And I'm not saying that it will be on a certain date or anything like that. After you have been with your partner for 1 month, or after you have been using that car for 1 month, of course, just talking about 1v1s here, then you will be able to change your car. You will have an opportunity to change your car after you have been using it for 1 month, or change your partner after you two have been partners for a month. If a new player comes in and they want to do 2v2 or they want to do 1v1, they have to use that car for 1v1 or keep that partner for 2v2 for 1 month. So that month window, so to speak, will not be the same for everybody. You have to stick with that car or that player, depending on 1v1 or 2v2, for a month. And then after that, then you will be able to switch partners, or you will be able to switch cars. Alright, with that being said, I believe I covered everything that you need to know for the UKC, for the league, for all the upcoming dates and things like that. I believe I've covered everything. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments below or shoot me a message on Xbox. I will respond to all of your questions. I would rather have you ask questions than you guys be confused on the day of the match. So please, if you guys have any questions, if you guys are confused about anything, please let me know. I will love to elaborate for you so that you and everybody else can understand what's going on. Now, it is possible that I missed something in this video or something like that, and once I, rewatch the video, I'm like, oh crap, this was a very confusing topic or something like that. I'm not sure. If that is the case and you have questions on that, please shoot me a message. And also, if I have any updates and things like that, I will also put them down in the comments. Also in the description and in the comments will be timestamps, so if you want to come back to this video at a later time, please come back to this video and click on the timestamp so you can jump to any part of the video that you are confused about or want to watch again. Alright, with that being said, I've been your host, Top Gear Tim. Thank you so much for joining me in this everything you need to know about the UKC. We have a lot of great players in this roster, a lot of them. We have a stacked 2v2 team. We have a stacked top 10 free-for-all. We have a crazy amount of skill within the 1v1 division. It's going to be a crazy league, and I'm super excited for everybody to experience and be a part of the league. And if you guys have any other players that you think might be interested in the league, come on down, like invite them all. Let's all get a big league, let's get a big roster going, and then we can really showcase everybody's strengths. It's going to be an amazing league. I'm super excited for this. But with that being said, that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.